It's not that he doesn't have the right to that security. He doesn't have the automatic right, but it will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So when he came back for the Jubilee, the Platinum Jubilee, for example, he did have that security. He was swept up in the bigger security operation for the Queen's funeral, also for the coronation. And actually, we saw him come back in the last few weeks to visit his father, and it appeared then that he also had police protection then during that visit. So it's not that he doesn't get it, but he's not automatically guaranteed it. He has to apply in advance for it.
Prince Harry has lost a High Court challenge over a government decision to change the level of his personal security when he and his family are in the UK. The judge, Mr Justice Lane, denied the Duke of Sussex's challenge, saying it was inappropriate and a formalist interpretation of the process in which such decisions are taken. Well, to make some sense of that and get the very latest, I'm joined by Sarah Hewson, Talk TV's royal editor, who's here with me in the studio. First of all, Sarah, Prince Harry's just responded, I believe. What's his response been?
Yeah, a 3-year-long legal battle, and it's not over yet, Mariella, because Prince Harry has made it known today that he's going to appeal the decision. Now, he has been fighting against the Home Office for 3 years since a decision was made in February 2020 that he should have his security downgraded. So he doesn't have the automatic right to taxpayer-funded police protection when he's in the UK. And that decision was made when he and Meghan moved away from the UK, initially to Canada and then the United States. He's argued that it's not safe for him and his family to come here. His children, Archie and Lilibet, can't feel at home in the UK if they're not safe, and that there is a genuine threat. His lawyers had argued that it would be a damage to the nation's reputation should there be an attack on Prince Harry. But the High Court has ruled today that that decision stands, that he doesn't have the right to a judicial review on it, and that he wasn't treated less favourably than others, which had been his argument.
It does seem to be a bit of a moot point because he does keep coming here solo, doesn't he? I mean, is that in order to perhaps embellish his claim that, you know, it's not safe for his family? Or is it because actually there's very little likelihood of them coming back in the near future?
I don't get the impression Meghan has an overwhelming desire to return to the UK. But also, I think this will have been a factor because if he kept coming back with his family, he would have undermined his case that it wasn't safe for them to be here. But there is an instance in May of this year when we're expecting Harry to come back for a service at St Paul's Cathedral to mark 10 years since the Invictus Games. It's been reported that he'd hoped his family would be able to join him for that. But without the security provision, we don't know whether that will happen and whether, certainly whether that would be used as an excuse. It's not that he doesn't have the right to that security. He doesn't have the automatic right, but it will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So when he came back for the Jubilee, the Platinum Jubilee, for example, he did have that security. He was swept up in the bigger security operation for the Queen's funeral, also for the coronation. And actually, we saw him come back in the last few weeks to visit his father, and it appeared then that he also had police protection then during that visit. So it's not that he doesn't get it, but he's not automatically guaranteed it. He has to apply in advance for it.
There's another couple of big royal stories in the mix at the moment. First of all, the tragic death at the age of 45 of Prince Michael of Kent's son-in-law. Is there any further news on that story?
No, this is a really, really heartbreaking story. I mean, Thomas Kingston may not be a name familiar to many, but the husband of Lady Gabriella Kingston, formerly Lady Gabriella Windsor, as you say, Prince and Princess Michael of Kent's daughter, 45. They were married at St George's Chapel in Windsor 5 years ago. He was found dead at a property in Gloucestershire on Sunday evening. No suspicious circumstances, we're told, no other parties involved, but there is going to be a coroner's inquest now. What was remarkable, actually, was that yesterday at the memorial service for King Constantine of Greece, Prince and Princess Michael of Kent were there sitting in St George's Chapel, the very place where their daughter had got married, and putting on a pretty brave face. It was just a few hours later that we had the news of his death announced.
And of course, also at that same memorial service, the absence of the Prince of Wales, who was supposed to be there at King Constantine, was his godfather.
Yes, and Prince William was due to be giving a reading. He was in the order of service as such and was close to his godfather. So it did certainly raise eyebrows when he pulled out less than an hour before the service. The media were informed that he wouldn't be attending. He'd apparently called the Greek royal family to apologise, but we've got no real reason for it. Kensington Palace sticking to the line it was a personal matter, but certainly not wanting to elaborate any further, didn't want to get into any speculation. But of course, given the backdrop of this, with the ill health of the king after his cancer diagnosis, with Kate continuing to recover from her abdominal surgery, it does lead to concerns. People are rather jittery about this, and there's a lot of attention placed on this. They didn't say it wasn't about Kate, although they did say that she's continuing to do well at home, and that's all we've got.
And we've really seen no sign of her since the
We
operation.
haven't. There's a lot of speculation on social media about, where is the Princess of Wales? I think they were pretty clear when she had her surgery that she was going home to recover, and we wouldn't be seeing her until Easter at the earliest. And I think they're sticking to that.
Well, I think we'll be having you back on in the very near future with all of these stories. Sarah Houston, thank you very much indeed for joining me. My colleague Sarah Houston there from Talk TV, their royal editor.
No photos, please. Guys, you need to take photos, please. Leave take photos, okay? Sorry, take photos.